It is unethical and unprofessional for an electrical contractor to purchase and install electrical components from unauthorized sources, such as breaker brokers. In this case, the original contractor compromised safety and reliability by installing a non-genuine breaker, potentially endangering lives and property. As the successor contractor, you have a duty to ensure that the electrical system is safe and compliant. You are now responsible for addressing the issues created by the previous contractor's actions. Firstly, conduct a thorough inspection to identify any other components or practices that may have been compromised. Secondly, obtain and install genuine 3-pole 600 amp breakers to restore the system's integrity. Thirdly, keep detailed records of the inspection and any corrective actions taken. This documentation will provide evidence of your due diligence and protect your interests in the event of legal or insurance issues. Inform the previous contractor of the situation and demand that they remedy the problem promptly and professionally. Cooperate with the manufacturer of the switchgear to obtain the necessary replacement breakers and confirm their compatibility. Report the issue to the building owner or relevant authorities to ensure transparency and regulatory compliance. To prevent future issues, develop a clear policy prohibiting the use of components from unauthorized sources on your projects. Review specifications carefully to ensure that all electrical components meet the required standards. Conduct regular inspections and testing to ensure the integrity and safety of all electrical systems. By upholding ethical standards and taking proactive steps to address the previous contractor's negligence, you can ensure the safety of the electrical system under your care. This will protect your reputation, maintain compliance, and provide peace of mind for all stakeholders involved. As a successor contractor, meticulously inspect the entire electrical system. Pay close attention to the following aspects to ensure comprehensive safety and compliance. Check all circuit breakers for proper labeling, ampacity, and functionality. Verify that the installed breakers match the electrical panel schedules and meet the load requirements of the connected circuits. Inspect the wiring for proper gauge, insulation, and connections. Ensure that all wiring is appropriately sized for the intended current load and that connections are tight and secure. Examine the grounding system for continuity and effectiveness. Verify that grounding conductors are properly connected to grounding electrodes and that the system meets the requirements of the National Electrical Code, or NEC. Test the operation of all safety devices, such as ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, and arc fault circuit interrupters, or FCIs. Ensure that these devices are functioning correctly and providing the intended protection against electrical shock and fire hazards. Confirm that all electrical equipment is properly installed and maintained. Check for any signs of damage, wear, or corrosion and address any issues promptly. Verify that equipment is adequately ventilated and protected from environmental factors. Review the electrical drawings and documentation for accuracy and completeness. Ensure that the drawings reflect the actual installation and that all changes and modifications are properly documented. Obtain copies of all relevant permits, inspections, and certifications. Verify that the electrical system has been properly inspected and approved by the relevant authorities. Maintain detailed records of all inspections, tests, and corrective actions taken. This documentation will provide valuable evidence of your due diligence and protect your interests in the event of any future issues. Establish a clear protocol for reporting and addressing any electrical safety concerns. Encourage employees and occupants to report any potential hazards and ensure that these concerns are promptly investigated and resolved. By conducting a thorough inspection and addressing any identified issues, you can ensure that the electrical system is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and standards. It is imperative to replace any incorrect breakers immediately to restore the system's integrity and prevent potential hazards. Begin by identifying the exact specifications of the required 3-pole 600 amp breakers. Consult the original equipment manufacturer, or OEM, documentation or the electrical drawings to determine the correct breaker type, model number, and interrupting rating. Obtain the replacement breakers from a reputable supplier. Ensure that the breakers are new and used, and certified to meet the applicable standards. Before installation, visually inspect the replacement breakers for any signs of damage or defects. Verify that the breakers are properly labeled and that all components are securely in place. To energize the circuit before removing the incorrect breakers, follow the lockout-tagout procedures to ensure that the circuit remains energized during the replacement process. Carefully remove the incorrect breakers from the electrical panel. Take note of the wiring connections and ensure that they are properly labeled for reconnection. Install the replacement breakers in the correct positions in the electrical panel. Ensure that the breakers are securely mounted and properly aligned. Reconnect the wiring to the replacement breakers. Follow the wiring diagrams and ensure that all connections are tight and secure. Verify that the breakers are properly grounded. Connect the grounding conductors to the designated grounding terminals on the breakers. Energize the circuit and test the operation of the replacement breakers. Verify that the breakers trip properly under overload in short circuit conditions. Document the replacement process, including the date, time, and details of the work performed. Keep records of the replacement breakers, including the manufacturer, model number, and serial number. By following these steps, you can ensure that the incorrect breakers are properly replaced and that the electrical system is restored to its original integrity. Detailed records of the inspection and any corrective actions are crucial for several reasons. Firstly, legal protection. Accurate and comprehensive documentation provides evidence of your due diligence and compliance with applicable codes and standards. In the event of any legal claims or disputes, this documentation can be used to demonstrate that you took reasonable steps to ensure the safety and integrity of the electrical system. Secondly, insurance coverage. Insurance companies may require documentation of inspections and corrective actions as a condition of coverage. Detailed records can help to support any claims and ensure that you receive the appropriate compensation for any losses or damages. Thirdly, regulatory compliance. Regulatory agencies may require documentation of inspections and corrective actions to ensure compliance with applicable regulations. Detailed records can help you to demonstrate compliance and avoid any penalties or fines. Fourthly, risk management. Documentation helps to identify and mitigate potential risks associated with the electrical system. By keeping track of inspections, tests, and corrective actions, you can identify any patterns or trends that may indicate potential problems and take steps to prevent them from occurring. Fifthly, quality control. Documentation helps to ensure the quality and consistency of your work. By keeping track of inspections, tests, and corrective actions, you can identify any areas where improvements can be made and ensure that all work is performed to the highest standards. Sixthly, accountability. Documentation helps to establish accountability for the safety and integrity of the electrical system. By keeping track of who performed the inspections, tests, and corrective actions, you can ensure that everyone is held responsible for their work. Seventhly, communication. Documentation provides a clear and concise record of the condition of the electrical system and any corrective actions that have been taken. This information can be used to communicate with building owners, tenants, and other stakeholders and ensure that everyone is aware of the current status of the system. Eighthly, historical reference. Documentation provides a valuable historical reference for the electrical system. This information can be used to track changes over time, identify potential problems, and make informed decisions about future maintenance and repairs. When informing the previous contractor of the situation, maintain a professional and respectful tone. Clearly and concisely explain the issues that you have discovered. Provide specific details about the non-genuine breaker and any other compromised components or practices. Document all communication with the previous contractor. Keep records of all phone calls, emails, and other correspondence. Demand that the previous contractor remedy the problem promptly and professionally. Give them a reasonable time frame to respond and take corrective action. If the previous contractor refuses to cooperate or fails to take appropriate action, consider pursuing legal remedies. Consult with an attorney to determine your options. Work closely with the manufacturer of the switchgear to obtain the necessary replacement breakers and confirm their compatibility. Provide the manufacturer with all relevant information about the switchgear, including the model number, serial number, and any applicable drawings or documentation. Request a recommendation for the appropriate replacement breakers. Ensure that the replacement breakers are certified to meet the applicable standards. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for installation and testing. Document all communication with the manufacturer, including any recommendations or instructions that they provide. Reporting the issue to the building owner or relevant authorities is crucial for ensuring transparency and regulatory compliance. This is especially important when dealing with potentially dangerous electrical issues. Clearly and concisely explain the situation to the building owner or relevant authorities. Provide specific details about the non-genuine breaker and any other compromised components or practices. Emphasize the potential safety risks associated with the situation. Provide documentation of your findings, including inspection reports, photographs, and any other relevant information. Cooperate fully with any investigations or inspections that may be conducted by the authorities. Ensure that all corrective actions are properly documented and reported. Follow all applicable regulations and requirements. Retain copies of all reports and communications for your records. Establishing a clear policy prohibiting the use of components from unauthorized sources on your projects is essential for maintaining quality and safety. Define what constitutes an authorized source. This may include manufacturers, distributors, and other suppliers who have been approved by your company. Clearly state that the use of components from unauthorized sources is strictly prohibited. Explain the reasons for this policy, including the potential risks to safety, reliability, and compliance. Communicate this policy to all employees, subcontractors, and suppliers. Ensure that everyone understands the importance of using only authorized components. Enforce this policy consistently and fairly. Take disciplinary action against anyone who violates the policy. Regularly review and update this policy as needed. Ensure that it remains relevant and effective. Keep records of all training and communication related to this policy. Documentation is essential for demonstrating compliance. Reviewing specifications carefully to ensure that all electrical components meet the required standards is a critical step in preventing future issues. Begin by carefully reviewing the project specifications. Pay close attention to the requirements for electrical components, including voltage, current, ampacity, interrupting rating, and other relevant parameters. Compare the specifications to the actual components that are being installed. Ensure that all components meet or exceed the required standards. If you identify any discrepancies or potential problems, address them immediately. Contact the project engineer, architect, or other relevant parties to clarify any questions or concerns. Do not proceed with the installation until all issues have been resolved. Keep records of all specifications, reviews, and any corrective actions that have been taken. Documentation is essential for demonstrating compliance and preventing future problems. Conducting regular inspections and testing to ensure the integrity and safety of all electrical systems is a crucial part of any comprehensive electrical safety program. Develop a written inspection and testing plan. This plan should outline the scope of the inspections, the frequency of the inspections, and the procedures for conducting the inspections. Train all personnel who will be performing inspections. Ensure that they are knowledgeable about electrical safety and the proper procedures for conducting inspections. Conduct regular visual inspections of all electrical equipment and wiring. Look for any signs of damage, wear, or corrosion. Test all safety devices, such as ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, and arc fault circuit interrupters, or SIs. Ensure that these devices are functioning properly. Perform insulation resistance testing on all wiring. This test can help to identify any potential insulation failures. Perform load testing on all circuits. This test can help to identify any overloaded circuits. Document all inspections and testing. Keep records of all findings, including any corrective actions that have been taken. Review the inspection and testing program regularly. Make any necessary changes to ensure that the program remains effective. By following these steps, you can ensure that the electrical systems are safe and reliable. Upholding ethical standards requires a commitment to honesty, integrity, and fairness in all business dealings. Avoid conflicts of interest. Disclose any potential conflicts of interest to all parties involved. Do not engage in any activities that could compromise your impartiality or objectivity. Maintain confidentiality. Protect confidential information from unauthorized disclosure. Do not use confidential information for personal gain. Comply with all applicable laws and regulations. Ensure that all business activities are conducted in compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. Treat all parties fairly and respectfully. Avoid discrimination or harassment of any kind. Provide accurate and truthful information. Do not make false or misleading statements. Be transparent in all communications. Act in the best interests of your clients and customers. Provide them with the best possible service. Protect their interests. Maintain a high level of competence. Stay up to date on the latest industry standards and practices. Continuously improve your skills and knowledge. By upholding ethical standards, you can build trust with your clients, customers, and employees. This will lead to a more successful and sustainable business. Taking proactive steps to address the previous contractor's negligence is essential for protecting your reputation, maintaining compliance, and providing peace of mind for all stakeholders involved. Immediately assess the extent of the damage caused by the previous contractor's negligence. Identify any potential safety hazards and take steps to mitigate them. Develop a plan to correct the deficiencies and restore the electrical system to its original integrity. Communicate openly and honestly with all stakeholders, including the building owner, tenants, and relevant authorities. Explain the situation and the steps that you are taking to address it. Obtain all necessary permits and approvals before beginning any corrective work. Ensure that all work is performed by qualified and licensed electricians. Follow all applicable codes and standards. Document all corrective actions that are taken. Keep records of all inspections, tests, and repairs. Implement the quality control program to ensure that all work is performed to the highest standards. Regularly monitor the electrical system to ensure that it remains safe and reliable. By taking these proactive steps, you can minimize the negative impact of the previous contractor's negligence and protect the interests of all stakeholders. Ensuring the safety of the electrical system protects your reputation and demonstrates your commitment to providing a safe and reliable service. This will enhance your credibility and build trust with your clients and customers. It maintains compliance with all applicable codes and standards. This will help you to avoid any penalties or fines. It provides peace of mind for all stakeholders involved, including the building owner, tenants, and employees. This will create a more positive and productive environment. In conclusion, always prioritize safety and ethical conduct in all electrical work.